All right, guys, I don't know what happened, but I lost y'all. I'm going to wait until y'all log back on before I start back up. Okay. I'm just waiting. We had some, don't know what happened. It just shut off, and had quite a few people logged in. So I'm trying to wait until they log back in. I don't know what happened to the camera, but I'll just recap what I was saying about that. And that's so yes, you can hold somebody civilly liable for somebody else committing suicide, but the facts have to be very strong. And once again, the causation and the foreseeability of the issue is what you have to prove and show that by the preponderance of the evidence that that's what caused him to commit suicide. And as far as the criminal side of it, now this is really tough, and I don't know that you're going to ever get a DA's office to take a case like this. It would have to be extremely strong evidence to show that you're criminally responsible for somebody else committing suicide. I mean, the evidence would have to be, like I said before, in a criminal court, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, and there's so many factors to somebody committing suicide that trying to show that one person was that cause beyond a reasonable doubt is really tough. That would be really hard. I think that I've seen it in the news one time. I'm not sure how that turned out, but that would be really, I mean, basically murder, for murder, you have to show that you caused the death of somebody else. And you intentionally or knowingly caused the death of somebody else. That's almost impossible, in my opinion, to prove on a suicide case. Now, manslaughter, you have to show that you're reckless. Your actions were so reckless that you caused the death of another person. Again, I think that's just almost impossible. And of course, criminally negligent homicide, which is a state jail felony, you can only spend up to 2 years in a state jail prison for that. You have to be criminally negligent. Okay, that's the lowest standard in showing your mental intent. But that also is just tough. I mean, and you have to show that beyond a reasonable doubt. So, like I said, the suicide has so many factors. The person's depressed, the person don't like the way their life's going, all kinds of things. They lost a family member, broke up with a girlfriend, got a divorce, whatever. So all those factors, and then you try to show that one other person did something that caused them to take their life, even on a criminally negligent level. I just don't know how you prove that. It would just have to be, I think it's almost impossible, and I don't think that you're ever going to get a DA to take a case like that for criminal charges. Well, Sylvia, I know you didn't log back in yet, but hopefully that answers your question. And I've got another question here from Veronica. And Veronica, me and Veronica were friends in high school. I don't think I've seen her since high school. So, Veronica, hello, how you doing? Of course, with Facebook, we get to see what everybody's doing now. So, anyway, seems like everything's well with you. And your question is, what rights do grandparents have when it comes to grandkids? And basically in Texas, grandparents, there is a statute for grandparents' rights, okay? But it's very limited. And basically the only way that you can get grandparents' rights, or grandparents can get rights to see their grandchild, is if the parent of the child, say the father, passes away, possibly in prison for a long period of time. Basically, they have to be unavailable, okay? And, you know, that's real limited too, but it can't be that they are just consciously not making an effort to see their child. That's not unavailable. Unavailable is passed away, prison, things of that nature. And so, and maybe they got their rights taken away, terminated, something like that. But in that case, then grandparents can petition the court for visitation and try to get visitation of their grandchild. And I think if it's a situation where one parent has passed away, then that set of grandparents would be able to get visitation and be able to visit their grandchild. And you also ask if in the event they're not able to care for the child, who would get custody if the father was not there, and say mom passes away and she's married to another man? Well, you know, once again, I think that's a situation where the grandparents can apply or petition the court to get custody of the child or children that belong to their son or daughter that passed away. And I think they have a real shot at getting custody over the step parent. And, you know, it could go several ways. It could be a situation where the grandparents, you know, actually get custody, maybe become primary conservators. Yeah, because unless the other parent adopts them, then they're not really their parent. So, but they would also be able to apply to become conservators because they've lived in the house. The kids lived in the house of that parent for over 6 months. So, and that's a key milestone, I guess. If you take care of a child that's not even yours, for 6 months without the actual parent of the child visiting or contributing or anything like that, then you can apply to become a conservator of the child. And so the step parent would be able to attempt to get custody. At that point, it would be up to the court, and the court basically looks at what is in the best interest of the child. And once again, that's a fact-based decision, and we just don't know how that would turn out. It just depends on the facts. Maybe the kids love their step parent, and they put in their 2 cents and say, "Hey, I want to live with my step parent," and they're over 12, and the judge talks to them, and maybe the judge goes their way, but maybe not. Maybe the grandparent is what is in the best interest of the children. So, anyway, to sum up your question, Veronica, yes, grandparents do have a right to get grandparents' rights when their son or daughter is unavailable in the child's life. Once again, that means possibly passed away or maybe in prison or something. Then grandparents would be able to get grandparents' rights. And if the step parent wanted to get custody, or the grandparents want to get custody, if the parent has passed away, then that would be something for the judge to decide. But I think grandparents would have an opportunity to be primary custodian. And like I said, the court looks at what is in the best interest of the children or the child, and that's how the judge will make his decision. So anyway, we spent about 30 minutes answering questions today. Like I said, I don't mind doing this. I enjoy it. Y'all send your questions. We'll be back next Friday to answer questions. And once again, go Brazil on Monday. Y'all have a good weekend.